Hey guys, real quick before the video, can we get some update hype in the house? There's going to be a Clash Royale update coming next month in June, which is just a week away now. So what are you guys looking for in the next update? Let me know in the comments below. Is it going to be heroes? Is it going to be new tournaments? Is it going to be clan war improvements? Is it going to be a fix for ladder? Let me know. Interested to hear what you guys are expecting out of the next update. Guys, on to the main video. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Hope this video finds you all doing well. Today's going to be a good one. We're going to give you advanced tips as an individual and as a clan to increase your war day win rates and collection day too. Clan wars in general in Clash Royale. So I'm not going to be here alone giving you advice today. I have on the line the clan war leader in Sir Tag's clan. It is Lolnopound. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Ash. Thanks for having me on the channel.
No problem, man. It's a pleasure to have you. Let me just start out by asking, you are the war leader for your clan. Would you advise every clan has a war leader, and what is kind of your responsibilities?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much different than just having a regular clan leader, but I do, focus, instead of focusing on ladder, we focus a lot more on war specifically. The first and most important thing for being a war leader is you have to make sure that every single person is active. They have to do all three of their participation attacks. They've got to do their war day attacks. And then once you've got, a full 50-person clan full of active members, the next step I would do after that is selecting some war generals. I picked out the 4 best people in the clan, and I nominated them. I call them generals, and they just help out with mainly deck building, and also they're very active in chat and can practice with people during war day.
I love that. I love that system too. And you mentioned off air too that you guys communicate on Discord. Is that right for Clan Wars?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that even if you do the other tips of having like full participation, good players, I don't think you can be like a top leaderboard clan in Clan Wars if you don't have some kind of group communication outside of the game. Because the clan chat just really doesn't cut it, because you can't like, if you share decks, they get pushed off the clan chat. So we have a Discord where we've got a chat just for posting screenshots of war decks so people can go look at it. And it's also easy for leaders, because leaders can only send a clan mail every 12 hours. So it lets us announce to everyone, and everyone can go see what the leaders need people to do.
I like that system. It works really well. We do something similar over in Nova EG as well, and it seems to work. We're actually getting a lot better. I've been talking to you the last few days about this video, and I've kind of gotten the guys to start implementing some of the things that you suggested already, and it's already made a world of difference over in Nova EG. We're feeling a lot of momentum right now. So I want to kind of go right into the actual war, right? So let's start with Collection Day. So Collection Day is a little bit of a mixed bag right now, because there's one tournament standard mode, draft mode, then everything else is card level dependent. So we're going to focus mainly on War Day, but on Collection Day first, what do you recommend people do in terms of, are all modes created equal? What's the best way to take advantage of the different modes?
Okay, my first and biggest point is definitely don't do sudden death. I would never do sudden death.
I'm with you there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one, if you start off with just a bad hand and suddenly they come in with like a loon graveyard freeze or something, and then you just lose immediately. Or what's more likely, in my opinion, if you do defend it, there's only 3 minutes to work with in the game, so you're very likely to draw. And right now, if you draw, then it's just a loss for both players. You don't get any more cards. So definitely wouldn't do sudden death. What I would suggest is, for a while I was doing draft. I know everyone likes a draft because it's a tournament standard, but I've had a lot of success recently with double elixir, because I get to control my own deck. It's not random like draft mode, and I've been able to, even though I'm a little underleveled, I have been able to make up for it by running cards like Tombstone and Tornado. They're very defensive cards, so it lets me stop their big like golden push they're coming at me, and then counterattack. And also, Skeletons, Tornado, those aren't very level dependent cards, so I'm not really penalized for not being a max player when I play them.
I really like that advice. Going with cards, skeleton-based cards, tornado for spells, cards that levels don't really matter that much. That's great advice. Now, if you had a deck that you're very comfortable with, I know that you're a golem player, for example. So would you run a golem deck like you're comfortable with that you normally play on ladder or challenges or whatever? Or would you tweak it to add in that tombstone and that NATO or whatever, so you can have those less level dependent cards in it?
Yeah, I do still run decks I'm comfortable with. I do still go in with a Golem on collection day, but I have worked in Tombstone and NATO because there's already a very popular NATO Golem deck right now, and I just kind of work Tombstone into it. And definitely in the Golem mirror match, having that building and the NATO to pull the Golem, usually they don't even touch my tower, even if they're over leveled. So I can usually take the game 1-0.
That's great advice. And my favorite mode is also double elixir mode. If my card levels were really low for some reason and I found myself continuously matching up against other people, I would definitely do draft, and I would practice draft a lot. You know, I would do friendly drafts as much as I possibly could. I would watch YouTube draft videos, you know, and I would just really try to be a draft expert. But if you find yourself able to make those tweaks, those adjustments, and adding those kind of non-level dependent cards to a deck that you're comfortable with, I would actually recommend Double Elixir too. Sudden Death, like you said, is one of those game modes where you can play it if you want to roll the dice, because you could be the guy who punishes early on. But ultimately, I'm with you. I'm not a Sudden Death fan for the same reason that you kind of shared there, is because there's less time, more likely a draw at the end of the day. And if you get a draw, that's a loss. So I'm with you 100%. What about the 2v2s? Any advice on that, or pretty much, you know, standard, straightforward stuff?
Yeah, I haven't actually done the 2v2 myself, but it does interest me because I know in the Asian CRL leagues right now, they are doing the 2v2s like competitively. So there is gameplay available, and if you and a friend in your clan wanted to go watch how the pros do 2v2 and like practice 2v2 like all day with each other, I think a lot of the people you're going to find on collection day don't know how to play 2v2. So most likely, if you have like any skill whatsoever practicing with your clanmate, you'll probably be able to catch some people with some surprise, because they won't be expecting you to be a 2v2 master.
Absolutely, and I'm actually going to go ahead and upload, you mentioned CRL, they do 2v2 in competitive CRL. I'm going to upload, I think, a just gameplay of all the 2v2 China matches. It will be like 3 hours. If any of you guys want to see the decks, I'll put that on Facebook, though. I'll put a link in the description below. But anyway, let's move on to War Day, because that's where it really matters. That's where it really counts. You know, let me just give you the mic here, Lolnopound. Where should you? What's the most important thing about War Day, in your opinion?
It's tough to nail down an exact most important thing, but I'll start by talking about card levels, because War Day isn't tournament standard. It is, some cards are over leveled, some are under leveled, and you know, all cards are supposed to be balanced for tournament standard. So if you're over leveled, you have a 10% HP buff, and on top of that, a 10% damage buff. So you'll be living a lot longer, and you'll be doing a lot more damage, and that's a really big buff. Pretty much even if a card is awful, Supercell rarely gives a 10% buff to both stats. And an example I have for like how important levels are is Elite Barbarians. Obviously, Elite Barbarians, when they're over leveled on ladder, everybody hates them. But even in at tournament standard, when Elite Barbarians first came out, they were unplayable. Nobody played them. They were just too expensive at 6 elixir. They didn't really do anything. So Supercell gave them a crazy buff, 19% hit points, 14% damage, which is about a 1.5 level increase. And overnight, they went from unplayable to one of the strongest cards in the game's history. So that really speaks to the importance of making sure, if you see two cards and you're kind of picking between them, definitely pay a lot of attention to levels. And one very important interaction is definitely with goblins. I see a lot of people running under-leveled goblin gang as opposed to over-leveled goblins. But when they go into the war battle, they just zap and the whole goblin gang dies, while the over-leveled goblins would have lived the zap. So I think definitely go in with that.
Absolutely, and I fell victim to this myself, as embarrassing as it is. But you know, I created a 3 Musketeer deck the other like 2 wars ago, and I had it just what you outlined there. I'm kind of, this is such an annoying thing to say, but I'm kind of I'm kind of used to having maxed cards, I should say. So I don't even look at the card levels, and I put Goblin Gang into my 3 Musketeer deck. I also had minions under-leveled, and they could both be zapped, and I played a couple friendly battles, and I was losing horribly, and I forgot who it was in my clan, but somebody was just like, Ash, dude, don't run those under-level cards on War Day. And I switched them out, and I actually won that attack, and I think that was probably one of the reasons, So I think you're right. Paying close attention to those key interactions on card levels, especially the swarmy type cards, is really important. And you also you mentioned, this is actually the catalyst to having this episode, this video, is you mentioned to me privately that you have a 5-hour rule that you feel really passionate about. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, if y'all take anything away from this video, definitely take away this part. It's the 5-hour rule, and I'm super passionate about this. Like, I sent out a clan mail. I said, if you attack in the first 5 hours, you're kicked out the clan. So what I do a lot of math and statistics, and so I was like constantly like seeing what all the clans in the war, what their like win percentages were and stuff, and seeing where we were, what our chances of like coming back was. And I noticed that in the first 5 hours, for 80% of our wars, if you attack in the first 5 hours, you're twice as likely to lose, which is a huge difference.
Wow, that's crazy. And you think it's just because people run in with a deck that they think they feel comfortable with, but without practicing and stuff? Or is it because your generals haven't had time to craft and create the best decks possible for people to choose from? A little bit of both?
Yeah, I have noticed that after like very late in the wars, once we have like we've done a good bit of war battles, we've done a lot of practices, and we finally nailed down like, okay, this is the one best deck possible you can run with our cards. Once we get that one best deck nailed down, we actually usually go about undefeated or like one loss for the rest of the war once we nail that down. But the people who go in, early on, their deck just isn't perfected yet because not all 50 players have gotten a chance to look at all the collection day cards yet. Not everyone's gotten a chance to practice with it. So they go in with like kind of like a good deck, but not a perfect deck. And it makes a much bigger difference than I thought it would.
I like that advice. Now, what about deck building itself? Now, if you're going to build a deck, are some cards better than others given the limited card set for War Day? So there's only 40 cards total. Is it the same as the normal meta where there's, 84 cards, 86 cards, I forget? Or is it different where some cards are more valuable because of the limited card pool?
Yeah, I would say that some cards are more valuable because of the limited card pool. What a lot of people don't think about what the limited card pool really means. What it means is that deck synergy across the board is going to be down. Like Golem and Giant just beat down decks in general. They don't have every support card they want. Like they might not have Pump. They might not have Night Witch. So they're not near as much as a threat on offense. But at the same time, defensive decks like X-Bow or another siege deck like that, they might not have Tesla. They don't have their fast cycle cards like Skeletons and Ice Spirit. So it's a lot harder to defend. So I like cards that can do both, namely Prince, Dark Prince, Bandit, Mini P.E.K.K.A, cards that are really good on defense, and then your opponent have to respond to it on offense, or they're going to take well over like 1,000 damage on their tower.
I hadn't even thought of that, but that's actually a really good point. Take cards that are two-directional, good on defense and offense, or at least value those cards higher. Doesn't mean you have to put them in every time, but that's really solid advice there. Anything else as far as card selection, or is that pretty much it? Just take cards that are equally strong defensively and offensively.
That's definitely a good tip. And, if you're having trouble thinking of a deck, obviously ask your clanmates for help. But just keep, like, basic deck building skills in mind. Like, you don't always have to, but you usually want a building in your deck to pull building targeting troops like Hog and Giant. You usually want a big spell and a small spell if you can. You're going to want swarm cards to stop Prince and Mini P.E.K.K.A. You're going to want air cards, air targeting cards. So just, make sure it's a well-rounded deck, really.
Okay, final question for you is, what about underperforming players in your clan? And this is something that happened 4+ years ago in Clash of Clans too, is that clan wars happen and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I used to think that that Frank over there was really good, and he's lost all of his war attacks. Do you advocate kicking players, coaching players? What should you do with underperforming clanmates?
I'll start off with an anecdote, actually, about myself in Clash of Clans. I'm dating myself. This is like 4 years ago, back when I was just a kid.
I was there. I was there.
I joined a clan called SI Warriors. They were a very good clan. They were a feeder to
I remember
Semper
them.
Invicta,
Yeah.
which is one of the best clans in Clash of Clans. And my first 5 wars, I don't think I got a single 3-star war. I failed 10 war attacks in a row.
Wow.
And they never kicked. I thought every single war, I was like, this is the one where I get kicked. And they never kicked me. And eventually, I even made my way up to co-leader and eventually even leader. And I asked them, how come y'all never kicked me? Because I was awful. I was probably the worst player on the clan. And they said, well, we saw how active you were in chat. We saw that you put lots of time into planning your war attacks, and you didn't make any huge blunders. So, we knew you could be coached up and eventually be an important part of the clan. And I did eventually become the leader, and we had a record of 300 war wins and only 9 losses, 97% win rate.
Wow, impressive, man. So I'm guessing that you're going to say, don't kick those people.
Yeah.
If they show effort.
If they're hopeless, go ahead and kick them. But if you see them, they're practicing beforehand, they practice like 3 battles or more beforehand, or if after they lose, they share the replay in chat and they go to your clanmate and say, hey, can you watch this replay with me? Tell me where I went wrong. As long as you see that they can be coached up, I would definitely keep them in the clan, because if you kick them, well, it might take a month before you find a player as active as that again, because a 20-win player is never going to randomly join your clan. So if you see someone who's putting in effort and putting in the time, they can definitely be coached up to be a huge asset.
Absolutely, and I'll even add on to that because of, unlike Clash of Clans, in Clash Royale, you're actually matched up based on a kind of under the table, under the hood win percentage that you have in Clan Wars. So the people who are underperforming or not doing well at all, they kind of represent a great opportunity to actually make a giant amount of headway in terms of improvement in Clan Wars. Because if you can coach somebody who's, I don't know, 3 in 8 or as a War Day record, well, they're going to be bringing in easier matches. So likely, if they can improve, or if you can hand them, okay, try this deck instead of going in with whatever you were going to, that can actually be a great opportunity for your clan to get better, because those people already have established a low win rate. So I'm with you. I would not kick players unless, like you said, they just don't care. If they're just totally apathetic to Clan Wars, and the rest of your clan is gung-ho, then they're not going to really be helping anybody out.
Can I share a quick story about that?
Yeah, sure.
I had a guy. I already kind of didn't like him. His attitude kind of got on my nerves. And then about a week ago, we were like we had to win like every battle to win the war. And he goes in with like giant elite barbarians and like no air targeting, and after he gets 3 crowned, then he comes into chat and he says, "I got hard countered."
There's always that one guy out there, right? Is he still with you guys? I gotta ask, right?
No, he's gone.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I want to end with my final advice for viewers out there, and this is an important one for me, and it's a little bit touchy-feely, but it's so true in my opinion. It's another thing that I carried over from Clash of Clans too, is that you really have to be comfortable and learn how to take an L. Learn how to take losses as a clan together, not panic, not I'm gonna go join another clan, or I'm going to this is worthless, or you guys suck. I think that because Clan Wars is going to be here to stay forever, it's really important that you handle losses with just kind of an attitude and how do we improve. From our perspective in Nova EG, we've been doing really, really well. We've only not came in first 2 Clan Wars, and one time we got absolutely blown out by FA Clan Wars, like the number 2 clan war clan in the game. All pro players, all absolute studs, right? And a lot of our guys were like, crap, it was a blowout. But I think that it was a great experience for us in terms of, oh, we're not the best and we need to improve and we need to focus more, most importantly, because it's early on. And I think that we kind of came away from that rejuvenated, and I could easily have seen where one little misstep we could have came out really demoralized too. So that would be my last tip. Do you have any final thoughts or words on your end?
Yeah, I think my final tip would be follow me on twitch.tv/Lolnopound.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip. I was going to mention that, but you took the words right out of my mouth. But seriously, Lolnopound, thank you for joining me. You guys should definitely check him out. You stream on Twitch often. On Twitter, you're good for some advice and for some spiffy comments here and there.
Yeah.
And we also, and you have a YouTube channel too, right?
I do, but I don't upload very often.
Okay. Well, I'm going to link it just in case you guys want to check it out. Anything else that we need to know before we let you go?
No, I really appreciate being on the channel, Ash. It was a blast.
It was a blast to have you, man, and I hope you guys learned a lot from this conversation. I feel like we touched on a lot, but at the same time, if you take even some of this in, maybe your clan's not, poised to be a super competitive clan, or you don't want to go on Discord or stuff like that, maybe you can take bits and pieces that apply to you as an individual or to your clan and try to get better. And again, huge shout out to Lolnopound for coming on the channel. It was a pleasure to have you, man.
I did have one final thing to throw in, actually.
Do it.
I just wanted to, all the viewers out there, outside of Sir Tag, we do not have a single pro player on our clan, and we still got to #1 on the North American local leaderboard, so you don't have to have pro players to do well in Clan Wars.
Another great tip. We're in the same boat, actually. We don't have, even though we're like a Nova clan, we don't have like the contracted pros on our team, so it's just kind of like more of a family clan. But it's great advice and a great point. So thanks again, Lolnopound. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Big shout out again to Lolnopound. You can find all his information in the description below, along with my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. Big shout out to Bren. He does so much for the community, so you guys should follow him on Twitter and thank him as well. Guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, take care, guys.